So we have a really awesome project that we're starting. So a customer called and said, I need a Hager 31J pull. A 31J is a flat profile pull, 10-inch center to center, and it'll be down onto a 4x16 push plate. No big deal. So this client calls for some Hager 31J pull handles. This is a movie studio. This is a movie studio that everyone has heard of, period. Hager 31J needs 4 of them, not in stock. It's a 1-inch wide, square profile, 10-inch center to center. I said, well, I can make it for you on the CNC machine. He says, yeah, send me a quote. So, needless to say, we got the job. I'm going to turn this 1-inch solid block of 6061, 8-inch by 12-inch into 4 individual pull handles, and that's what this video is about. And I hope you'll watch as we go through the journey. Unscripted drama is guaranteed. Success, not so much, but fingers crossed. Let's move on. Okay, so the bottom line is this looks really good. Next video, we're going to crack that off. We're going to see how it held. That's a 1 square inch piece there, and it wobbles, but it did not move. It did not move. The center pieces are really solid, really solid. Let's move on. Well, we've got some lubricant on there, but we're gonna see what we can do on cleaning these up. Move this probably over here. Yeah. I'm extremely happy with how well they held down, but how easy they were to remove. Really, really interesting. So let's take a look here. AB supplied with Richard. Obviously a little bit of detail work here on getting the tape off. What would be interesting is if I can find sheets of painter's tape so that it might peel off faster. I also have a bit of a background in locksmithing, and the reason I mention that is because I find people that are locksmiths at some level, either by training or just by personality type. We're awfully lazy folks. And we don't like to do more work than we have to. Got the blue tape off. Let's put that one aside right there. Let's get all the blue tape pulled off the rest of these. I might actually take these to a wash to rinse off the aluminum before I might have to put a small amount of sandpaper on these. So, yeah, obviously taking about 3 minutes to get the tape pulled off, 3-4 minutes. But again, possibly an amazingly awesome way to hold material down. These are the two blocks that are left. And I feel like I could get in there and right now just machine right to these. And in fact, I'm not going to pull those off until I decide what I'm going to do about that. All of the remaining aluminum that's here, that is also really well down. I'm gonna pull that off. Actually, I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave all of this. I want to just focus on these pull handles. So let me go. I've got a bucket I can rinse these off in. I can filter out the aluminum so it doesn't go down into the municipal water system, and just rinse these off. So let me go do that, and I'll come back.
If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it.
Okay, so I've spent maybe 15 minutes washing these down a little bit. Not getting too crazy with it just yet, but let me show you. Now, obviously, we've learned some things along the way, and I'd like to share that with you now. So you definitely want to minimize how much tape gets on this material. I don't have a buffing wheel or any way that I've got an automated way to clean that up, but there's a small amount of evidence of the material left. Very, very small amount. Okay. Just bar stock aluminum is all this, well, part of it's plate aluminum. So they're not awful. They're not awful. And the advantage of this approach is there needs to be some post-processing. That's for sure. Probably a buffing wheel to be able to make these extremely uniform. And I'm reasonably pleased with them. So what's going to happen next on this project, which we will for sure begin, if not tomorrow, we'll begin it on Saturday. Today is a Thursday. Probably going to, these don't need to be buffed. The customer understands that they're just milled aluminum, that there's nothing, no post-processing on these. They're just, that's it. That's what you get. I've got to take the 4 push plates, I've got to drill the holes in them, which I'll do on the machine, and then I've got to put the pull handles into the drill press, drill and tap the 1/4 holes here. And that's where we're going to go to next, setting up the drill press. I don't have it set up, but that's where we'll move to next, and let's keep rolling. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do here is we are going to get our drill press, and we're going to start to drill the back of the pull handles for the mounting. And I have the mounting stuff with me, so let me grab that and bring that and show it to you. Let's do that now. Okay, so on the back of our pull handles, we're going to have to drill and tap the holes for what Rockwood would call it, a Type 1 mount, is what Rockwood would call it. And all a Type 1 mount is just a 1/4, what I would call a stove bolt. It'll look like this on the opposite side, long enough to get through an 1 3/4 thick door, and we're in good shape. So next thing up is to drill and tap the back of all 4 pull handles. So let's proceed with that work. Okay, we needed a minute to find the tap handle, the tap and the bit. 1/4 bottoming tap, specifically meant for aluminum. I can't explain the science behind why taps that are specifically intended for a particular metal work so well, but I just know they do. Yeah, okay, so we've got the drill bit and the tap. Now the next thing that we have to do is get the base mounted to this. So let's grab the base and let's take a look. Okay, we've got our vise that we're going to attach to the bed. Let's take a look at doing that. Palmgren low profile drill vise. Okay, great. Sounds like what we need. And I'm going to use the drill press on a project right now. Oh yeah, this looks nice. This is a Palmgren 3-inch low profile vise, 9612303. Let's see what this looks like here now. Oh yeah, yeah. The issue, I have to hang that off a bit. Now, I wonder, yeah, I think the bolts I have are going to work for this project. The issue, though, is I've got to get this pull handle put in here. That might work. And a couple of pieces of wood to hold. Oh, by the way, this is the pull handle. We're going to be drilling drilling and tapping 1/4 holes in here for this. Probably put it on right like this. Should be good. I have some, what I believe are just 1/4 carriage bolts with some washers. Just want to hold it on. Yeah, it'll be fine to hold this in place. Not ideal, but not the ideal fastener. I will do the proverbial tightening up on this. I think I recovered these carriage bolts from a job, from a crate actually, that a Becker pump came in on. And heck, I'm just going to use them. Then at some point, I'll take a better look at what I'll need after I get some experience with this. I've got 8, so I'll use 8. Okay, so putting on the last bolt now. I've got 8 on here. Like I said, I had 8. Well, why not just put them on? I'm going to go grab a socket and a crescent. Let's see how we're looking on this.
If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it.
I think we got lucky right the first time. Yeah, we're good. Just use that socket, that same size on a prior project. We're going to leave them slightly loose because I'll have to reposition this depending on the thickness of the wood that I come up with. This is the 3-inch size, which I imagine to be the jaw capacity, which I guess would be nice to have a larger jaw capacity. Don't really know if it's necessary for my application, but we'll find out as we test this. Now we can get a couple of pieces of wood so we can clamp this down into where we need it to be. Nice and steady. I think the first thing we'll do is we'll bring our drill bit. I don't recall the 13/64 maybe for a 1/4-20. Don't quote me on that, I just don't remember. I believe that's accurate. There's a spring-loaded tip on this chuck key, which I like a lot. Helps pull the tool out, actually. Tightening it on all 3 sides. Great. A couple of sets through Allen wrenches came with the bench vise. Obviously for accessing parts and whatnot on it. Okay, let's find a couple of pieces of wood for this. Or I suppose cardboard would be okay as well, because we just have to hold it in place. Got a nice couple of pieces of block wood here that are just really the right size, or a good size anyway. Oh yeah, that'll be just dandy. Okay, so what we have to do now I'm going to set the amount of rotation on the handle so I know that I'm going to the right depth. A 1/2-inch drilling depth would be completely adequate, and we have lots of room in this pull handle, so we have no trouble with depth. As is life with the GoPro, they tend to stop when they get hot. So a little bit of a battery change here, a little bit of rest. So checking the amount of depth that we're going to drill to. That will be plenty, very much plenty. Okay, so all we have to do now is position our vise where we want the pull handle to be drilled at, and for this I'm going to need we're going to lock this in because I'm at the right height now. Okay, well I can still move my vise, so now I have to mark off where I want my holes to be on this, and then we'll drill one. And for that, getting to a point of incredible accuracy is just simply not needed, so I will use a standard tape measure, and I will just do that here, and then I'll center punch it. So this is 3/4, so we have to be at 3/8. It's 3/4 by 1 inch. Okay, so we have to be at 3/8. I believe that they have laser sights for drill presses, and if that's the case, I'm absolutely going to investigate that. I've seen them. I believe I've seen them at least. It would be nice. Yeah, I'll get the drill started. Good. And obviously, because it is aluminum, it should yield pretty easily. Okay, so let's plug it in. Let's see how this works. Let's try that right now. Of course, the nearest plug is a mile away. Problem is solved. First time turning this on, I think. Beautiful. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We'll get to it. Oh yeah. Really good, really easy, not a problem. Drill's really smooth, really straight. Not going too fast. I don't really want to heat up the aluminum very much, so it will weld itself. There's our maximum depth. I believe the term is just like downtown. Let's pull this piece out. We'll take the chips that are on there. Pretty. Excellent. Bring in the next piece, pardon me, the same piece, just second side. Oh. I like it. Tighten everything up. Hit the switch.
If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video.
The GoPro overheating is a chronic problem. These GoPros just they get too hot. They get hot and they stop. Battery power is not the problem. It's the overheating that's the problem. About another eighth. There we go. 2 really nice holes drilled. I'm going to drill the rest of the holes now in the other 3 pull handles, and we are going to then we are going to tap them. That's what we're going to do. So I'll let the camera run. You can see what's happening here. Bare hand, the bit's nice and cool. I mean, you can tell that it's not room temperature. The shank is room temperature. The cutting end is pretty cool. Okay, there we go. Didn't take very long. Next up for us is to now tap all these holes. And let's begin to tap all these holes. Okay, let's tap some holes here, and about a 40-minute interval there. Realized I didn't have a tap handle at this shop, walked over to the other one to obtain one. And again, everything on the drill press worked good. Why didn't I just use the gauge on the side here? Well, I wanted to bottom out, which means I know that I'll be going to a consistent depth every single time. That's why I did that. I realized I didn't mention what my logic was there. Otherwise, I'd be a 1/16 shy, a 1/16 too deep, things of that nature. Okay, this is a 1/4-20 tap. This is not a typical home center tap. This is specifically for aluminum. I think we're tight. This is a hand process. Boy, you don't want to break a tap off in your workpiece. If you do, you're probably done with that workpiece. So I'm going to give this a go. And it's a bottoming tap. There are taper taps, there are plug taps, there are bottoming taps. I like bottoming taps when I'm bottoming because it will allow me to get to where I'm going. I'm going to turn the camera around because I'm right-handed. As I've mentioned in the past, trying to learn to use two hands to do everything. I'm not confident enough with the left hand. Boy, this, I'll tell you, when you're tapping holes, the key is the right size drill bit and the right tap, because this is easy work. Backing it off, a quarter revolution for, say, every one that I go in, clearing out the chips, just makes sense. And I've got to be mindful of knowing when to stop. Now what I've done is I've also taken a look at the tap itself, so I have an idea of where a half of an inch is, so I know when to stop. It's obviously going to give me a lot of feedback in my hand when it's time to stop. I believe right about there. Let's back this out. Let's take a look. Upside down's the ticket because it pulls the chips out. Yeah. I'll show you that part that wasn't obvious. I had taken a look at where that ½ inch comes into play, and I know that I'm about 1/8 of an inch from the end of the tap helix. So when I'm that far in, I know I'm good. Now the ultimate test. Does our bolt go in? And again, I believe the term is just like downtown. Beautiful. That's going to make a pull handle. Sorry, you weren't able to see that. That's going to make a pull handle. That's what you're going to see. We're good. Let's put that in. Actually, what we'll do is we'll not put those in. Okay, didn't take very long. Not very fatiguing on the hands. Now a taper tap, you can't tell, but that tap is not exactly straight in the workpiece. It's going to straighten out. A taper tap is literally tapered, and it's nice for starting holes. And as soon as I started that rotation, it straightened out pretty well. A taper tap will allow you to start holes a little bit easier, and there have been times when I've used a taper tap to get started and then went back in immediately with a bottoming tap. Because the tap really needs to be started well. Otherwise, well, aluminum is not really a big deal. I have broken a tap off in steel, and it's dreadful. The material that the tap is made of is it's probably tempered steel, and I wasted a ½ an hour trying to salvage a $10 workpiece to get that broken tap out of there, to salvage the hole, and it was not a wise use of my time. We're very close now. And I wasn't keeping track. I could tell that I was done. Upside down is really nice because you may not be able to see it so well, but the chips just really come out. Really wide helix on this tap is probably why that's occurring. That's a completed pull handle. Holes are tapped. Okay. 1 down, 3 to go. Let's keep rolling. Then the less than interesting part of the job will start after this, the cleanup. Yeah, no problem there. Let's try the left hand.
Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.